chapter clicked in to College Volleyball Weekly on Viral Volley Media. Now here's your host, Rob on mic. Hey, good day, everyone, and welcome to College Volleyball Weekly Beach Top 20 for the 2025 season. We've got a preseason episode, but we got a new face and a returner, which totally welcome to have back Kylie Wickley of Texas, and first timer, but also already on an episode, Sydney Miller of Hawaii. Ladies, great to see you back again.
Good to see you.
You know, it's going to be a crazy couple of days here once Thursday hits, because that is the first day of the 2025 Collegiate Beach season. And with that, we saw some polls come out. But before we get to that, Kylie, why don't you do a brief intro of who you are, where you're from, and I don't know, any fun factoid about you that we can get to our viewers and listeners?
I'm Kylie Wickley. I'm a senior at the University of Texas. I'm from San Antonio. I spent 2 years at Arizona State. And a fun fact is I recently got engaged.
I was hoping you'd say that
Oh
because I'm
my
like, I'm
goodness.
watching out for your man. I'm gonna make sure that people know. Congratulations, Kylie.
Thank you.
And Sydney, have a shot.
My turn. Okay, I'm Sydney Miller. I'm from San Diego and I play at the University of Hawaii. It's my junior season, and a fun fact about me is I'm a fashion major.
Oh, from
Yeah.
model to fashion major.
All right, come on. Yeah, what can I
Well,
say?
excellent personalities I have representing the Collegiate Beach game. So, with that, let's go into what some recent news. And we were just chatting a little bit about, but the formation of the MPSF. That was one of the most recent news bits. Current teams: Washington, USC, Grand Canyon, Oregon, Stanford, Cal, and UCLA. First season on, but then they were already are adding four more teams for the 2026 season in Florida State, LSU, Texas, and South Carolina. Thoughts on the MPSF conference in 2025 and 26? And let's start with you, Sydney.
I think that it's a good and a hard opportunity for the people that are now in it because it's such a small, and we were talking earlier, me and Kylie, about how they didn't get an automatic bid. So it's going to be tough for any of them to get one to go to Alabama this year. But in the future, that's going to be a tough conference to play in. Like those are some of the top teams and always are all good. So definitely good competition coming from that.
All right, Kylie, thoughts on the 1 year MPSF and soon to be expanded MPSF on 2026?
Well, the MPSF, like, I feel like most of us know it for men's volley, which is a pretty competitive conference that way. So, I think it has a good like thing to follow, I guess. And yeah, lots of great teams. Similar to Pac-12, gonna be hard to get that auto bid, and although tournaments in season are great.
Well,
But
the great thing is all these conferences come down to the conference tournament or the whatever conference championship to get that auto berth. But crazy competition across the board, I think, in a majority of the conferences in the nation right now. So, um, with that, we know that some polls have come out this week, and I wanted to talk about the AVCA poll and get your guys' thoughts on it. First of all, we'll go one USC, two TCU, three UCLA, four Cal Poly, five Stanford, six Florida State, seven LMU, eight LSU, nine Cal, 10 Long Beach State. And we're gonna mention Texas comes in at 50 and Hawaii at number 12. Let's talk about what the coaches have voted on. Do you think it is spot on, or are they kind of on their own little cloud? We'll start with you, Kylie.
I think that things might get shaken up the first week, especially with the tournament in Hawaii this weekend. All those teams will be facing off kind of against each other, and I think it'll be a big battle, and I think we'll see a lot of shifts there, especially us. I don't think we'll shift this week because we don't play any ranked opponents, but us being at 15 is exciting for us, but also a little bit surprising too.
All right, Kylie, this is happening right on your beach, on Queens Beach. And man, I wish there was streaming. I wouldn't sleep at all this weekend. There are so many good teams. But talk about this top 20.
Me? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with Kylie. I think the coaches kind of did spot on with USC being one, TCU, UCLA, Cal Poly in the top four. With all these great teams at the tournament this weekend, like I I agree. I think Arizona and Hawaii both have huge opportunities to potentially move up if there's some upsets, but I also think the teams at the top kind of have to defend their name. But I think after this weekend, it'll be a little bit more true to where the rankings are because all the top teams are playing each other from the very get-go. So I think it'll be very interesting and I think it'll have more of an accurate um, layout. I think it's pretty accurate right now, but it'll be interesting to see at the end of the weekend where it's at for sure.
Well, what's really interesting is this. If you look more closely at the poll, at least the AVCA poll, USC had 11 first place votes and TCU had 16.
Ah,
So other teams ranked SC higher, like, but TCU got lower ranked votes, but more first place votes. So I think there's a little divide there in the coaching voting coaches poll. So, but let's talk about that there alone. USC, I think one of our former College Volleyball Weekly contributors, Mads, on her report for Sandcast Hughes said USC doesn't rebuild, they reload. So, wanted to get your comments on that particular comment. And let's start with you since you're smiling, Sydney.
I definitely gonna have to agree with that. I don't think USC is ever weak in any means. I think they earned kind of the first place slot after going again, winning last year in Alabama. So it's interesting to see that the split vote went 16-11, and I am so intrigued to see how the TCU versus USC match is gonna go. But yeah, I don't know. USC is never underestimated. I think anytime anybody plays them, it's kind of like, okay, we have nothing to lose. Like they're the best of the best. And like a lot of teams' goals is to be as consistent as them, especially, I mean, even for us in Hawaii, like I know a lot of things that we do, like they've won a lot of championships. So we try to build a program like them or something similar to them. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely would have to agree with what Mad said with that. They definitely don't have to rebuild, they just reload.
Yep. Kylie, your take on USC.
Yeah, I think they consistently are grabbing the top talent out of the transfer portal, like Maya Gessner or Ella Larkin or Kylie Truslow or Zoe Henson, or the list goes on and on. And I feel like they have such great coaches in Dane and Gustavo that they're able to build those players up, and like consistently they have the kind of standard that you see when you're competing against them,
Mhm.
and that is able to grow when they're not just like getting freshmen every year. That's not who's in their lineup. It's grad students and people who have experience at lots of different positions. So I think they're able to have success away. But I feel like schools are going to be coming for them this year. Like TCU, they also got out of the transfer portal with Alanis, and they have a lot of those international players who are really strong. So I don't know. I think it'll be really interesting this weekend to see how that goes.
Well, Kylie actually jumped ahead of me there because I can say, well, your in-state competitor or opponent, TCU, is looking really good. They have their Olympians back in Denny Alvarez and Tanya Moreno. But wait, so they won the Fall Pairs Championship in 2022. Then Lena Camille and Haley Hamlet won the Fall Pairs Championship in 2023. They're back. And of course, you Lanis Navas and Maria Gonzalez. I'm going to guess that you're going to have Danny and Tanya at the ones, Haley and Lena at the twos, and Maria and Alana at the threes. And there's 3 points to win the duel right there, if that's the way it panned out. But um, TCU looking good, Kylie. What's the inside intel on your part?
I mean, we played them a lot in the fall, and not to toot my team's horn, but we were really competing with them. We had like pairs beat Tanya and Daniela and like really compete with them. And last year we went three, we lost 3-2 against them, but with indoor players being half our team. And so I feel like they are so strong, but that doesn't mean necessarily that teams aren't going to be able to compete with them or take them off their pedestal.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Sydney, you have anything to add on TCU, or do you want to jump to UCLA, go closer to your coast?
I mean, I kind of agree. I think it's anybody's turf to kind of go up and grab it. I think because it's such a team sport and it's not just like singles, like as in the Olympics, those two are as like just them as a team. Like it's 5 pairs and it can kind of go any way. So I think it's kind of like Kylie said, anyone's game. And I think a lot of people are going to give them a run for their money.
Yeah. Well, let's go to UCLA. Now the 2024 Fall Pairs competition won by Sally Perez and Maggie Boyd of
Hmm.
UCLA, and that is a pretty wicked tandem there.
Yeah.
If they end up being the number ones, because Fall Pairs is not a guarantee. That's how it's going to look in the coming
Yeah.
spring. So, what's your take on UCLA, Sydney?
Well, it's interesting because, I've played UCLA a lot just because we go to the coast a lot and when we're in California, but I know a lot of the girls that graduated, so like Jaden, Devin, Lexi, all those girls that graduated. So I was kind of interested to see who was going to kind of step into those roles because I know that Maggie was kind of with like Lexi and she kind of took her under her wing. So I was curious of who Maggie was going to be with. So yeah, I mean, them winning the pairs championship definitely is promising for them. I'm so curious to see where their lineup is because I know like Natalie played at the fives last year, but I know I saw on TruVolley that she's ranked, I think, at the top 20 for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, they're always good competition and something with UCLA is they're just consistent and they're very deep. Same with USC. So I'm so interested to see where everyone's gonna be and pan out. And I feel like with UCLA, they kind of always are changing their lineup. Like I feel like in the beginning, it always kind of switches. Like at least last year at this tournament, like their lineup was
Mhm.
not the same all week. Like it changed in and out. Different people wear different seeds, and so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kylie, your take.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they have such a deep roster, and their addition of Alexa and Sally this year, those are two players that can compete at any level. Like Sally got third at the U21 championships, or
Hmm.
might be 19. I'm not sure, but those players have been like competing at such a high level for a while, and them coming to college and Sally winning with Maggie, I feel like just solidifies the fact that they have such a deep roster. And we also have Natalie and Perry and Jesse and all those people who have been in the lineup for years. Like, yeah, they're just one of those teams that's consistently gonna be good.
It's crazy as we're talking about these three teams, and we've mentioned all the names that we've seen before, but we know they've also got some young guns that are first years that could easily take court. And it's quite the phenomenon we're seeing, like these youngsters coming in with a humongous volley IQ and a phenomenal skill set. I mean, you guys are kind of like the old ladies of the game, I guess, so to speak. But they're coming in with so much more training and great coaching. They've got a pretty good package coming in to start. So let's move over to our next three, and let's just break it down. Just whoever wants to jump in. Cal Poly, Stanford, and Florida State. Anyone want to jump in on any of those?
I can jump in because one of them is Big West. Cal Poly, I was surprised that they were, I mean, it makes sense that they were fourth, but honestly, I feel like they could even be higher. I just feel like they were so advanced at the end of the season last year that like they were so close of potentially winning in Alabama last year. So I'm so excited to see them. And they are also a very deep lineup. I feel like the people for them never graduate, like Ella Connor and Lindsay Sparks. I'm like, how are you still here? Like, I literally don't understand. But no, yeah, they're super deep. And I also think they have a lot of young, kind of what you were saying, young girls
Hmm.
who are just super scrappy and like are very technical because they have to be technical nowadays. So I'm really excited to see what Cal Poly has to offer this season for sure.
Kylie, want to take one of the teams, and I'll take the last man standing, so to speak.
Yeah, I'll go with Stanford. They had such like a fast and furious start last year that they had such a young team that I feel like they weren't kind of able to keep that going throughout the whole season, like especially when you got to Pac-12s and NCAAs, because those players haven't done a full collegiate season yet, most of them. And so having that experience under their belt, I think they'll come back stronger this year and like more prepared, I guess. So I feel like they are a team definitely to look out for.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to jump on Florida State, and I know Mads did a little piece on it, but I'm going to grab a little bit of what she said. She'd indicate this is going to be the youngest team that Florida State has had in some time. Um, they got a lot of transfers, a lot of freshmen. Alexis Durish is one of the names that's a top returner for the Seminoles. McKenna Wolf, Mariah Massey is another name that will be seeing some time for the Seminoles, but a name that really caught my eye this last summer because I was working the AVP uh, streams was Gela Andrew. She had placed in the top nine in a few of the AVP events. So I believe she's only a freshman at the time. So this is her sophomore season. So I'm curious how she's going to end up in the mix and where she'll be flight wise in the lineup. Because, if you're being coached by a couple greats, Brooke Niles, Nick Lucena, and then of course Travis Mewhirter, who had his second child, I think, within the last 2 days. So congratulations, Travis and Delaney. Um, Florida State is always a powerhouse to be watching out for. So that'll be fun to see that team. I know there's rebuilding times and programs, histories, but you just with the kind of coaching staff they have at Florida State, they're going to be in pretty good hands. So um, next three, we'll go to the next four. LSU, Cal, Long Beach State, and Arizona State. I want to go to Kylie because she was a ASU transfer, and I know she has some ties still within the program.
Yeah, so ASU, they really came out last year and like showed Kristen, I feel like kind of showed who they were. And this year they've gotten so many transfers from programs where like they were playing high up, like Tori Clement from Stetson at the ones, or I mean Daniela last year and Samaya will be playing this year too. Those are
Yeah,
big people who I think I don't know, they've got a good coaching staff and good players who are fighting all the time, so they're I'm excited for them this year.
well, they are definitely pressing in to get into the NCAAs every year, and that they've only been trending upward. Since you've left, Kylie, I don't mean that in a bad way. Just, but they've been going. I started tracking. I'm like, oh wait, but yeah, they picked up Kristen, and she did great things at Grand Canyon, and she's transferring over to Arizona State. So, how about you, Sydney? You want to pick on those teams there? I was going to say Long Beach State, being that
Sure. Yep. Long Beach is kind of the same as Cal. They're always like promised to be good. Like they still have Malia and Taylor, so I'm assuming they'll be at the ones. They're consistently a really good pair for Long Beach. And then I know they still have like Megan Widener. I don't really, I know a couple girls transferred out, so I think that their lineup's going to be a little bit different than it has been in the past, which might be good for
Mhm.
them. Um, but yeah, I don't really know what much else about the new girls. I know they have a lot of new girls from like what has Malia has told me, but Long Beach has a pretty young coaching staff, so I think that they have like good relationships with all their players, which I think really benefits them. And I think that they are never super flashy, but I think that they always kind of just snag right by and they get the 3-2s and nobody expects it and they just do it. Like it's kind of how it happened last year in Big West. They beat Cal Poly 3-2. Like I don't know how they did it, but they did. And so yeah.
Yep. Good call. Anything to add there on the Long Beach State, Kylie? Or shall I move on to LMU?
I think Sydney covered it.
All right. Well, LMU is one of those sleeper teams because they're always in the top seven, eight, and they have solid returners this year. Tannen Rosenthal, Isabel Reffel, Michelle Schaefer, Chloe Hooker, Clover Crenshaw, Abby Thurop, Vilmini Preety, Anna Paloya. It's like their whole lineup is incredible, and they pick up a Olympian from Paraguay, Juliana Paletti, and saw her play at the Hermosa Open. And I'm telling you, Coach John Mayer picked up a really good one. And I don't know where she's going to start at, but I'm going to assume she's going to be in the ones or twos. Big physical presence, great ball control, and a strong swing. So he already has these other athletes coming in. LMU is going to be sneaking up the back. I'm going to call it right now. So um, with that, that leaves LSU, and I think we can do a group effort on this one. But anything to say about LSU? We'll start with you, Sydney.
I feel like, I don't know, personally in the past, I feel like every time that Hawaii's played LSU, we've upset them. And I feel like they never trickled down the lineup in TruVolley or AVCA. But I don't know. I don't really know who's still there as of right now. But I mean, they're always a good team. They're always very physical. And I felt like last year they weren't as tall as they have been in the past. So I'm curious to see if they've recruited or had any new transfers come in that are more physical. Because I feel like that's when they're the most successful, is when they're super tall. And they had like, I remember my freshman year, they had some tall girls and I'm tall and I was like, whoa, you're tall.
Well, here's some names. Just the key returners: Parker Bracken, Aubrey O'Gorman, and Gabby Bailey for the Tigers or Sandy Tigers. Sandy Tigers. You got to get it right. So, Kylie, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think they'll have a pretty solid top three teams. They've got Skylar Martin, who's a scrappy defender back there. And just their players, I feel like they're a postseason team. Like they
Mhm.
always show out at NCAA's, like placing in the
Yeah, I
top,
agree with you.
like going to the end, and everyone's
Yeah.
like never expecting it,
Yeah.
but somehow they're always there. So I think that they might be figuring stuff out in season, but then yeah, they're always a team to watch out for still.
Excellent. Well, we got to wrap up our top 20, but we're going to only go two more teams. And Sydney, I want you to talk about your Hawaii team. And of course, Kylie, you got to talk about your horns. So let's start with
Perfect.
Sydney since she comes in at number 12 on the AVCA poll.
You know what? We're super excited. I think this first weekend is like a huge opportunity for us because we're technically the lowest seeded school out of all of it, but we are hosting, so it's our own territory. So we kind of have nothing to lose. I think, I mean, 12 makes sense a little bit for us. We lost a lot of girls last year. I think there's only like 3 or 4 girls that have like consistently played in the lineup that are still here. But I mean, the thing about us is we're fresh. Like a lot of the girls don't have as much experience, but they like are so hungry to play and everyone wants to be in so bad. So I think, we have nothing to lose and we kind of just have a lot to gain. And I definitely see some upsets coming our way, and that's the hope at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what season has in store for us.
Excellent. Kylie, your horns coming in at number 15. I mean, not that I doubt the talent or the coaching staff, but they came in at 15. I'm like, whoa, someone must know something. But why don't you share about your horns?
We're all super excited for a season to start. I don't think any of us were shocked of like, oh wow, we don't deserve to be there, but we were just shocked to be there before really like competing. But we've kind of just been in like a lab of just like us and training and growing, and we have so many international players who are awesome, and I feel like we're just growing a lot and we're really just excited to get going and be able to show what we've been working on, I guess.
Wow. All right. Looking forward to that. Now, um, with that, I've got to ask you guys, who are the top athletes to watch for? Pick one or two uh, this coming weekend.
From
Let's
our teams or from other
just in
teams?
general. Like if you were like a fan, who would you want to watch out for? Who's like, you know what? I wonder what they've been doing in the offseason. Or, they were crushing it all year last year. I wonder what they're gonna come back with.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I don't even know if I can
That's
pick.
why I say one or
Mhm.
two.
I don't even know if I can pick.
Well, how
If
about
I
this?
had
Let's go here.
one, if I had one, I would say Maya Gessner.
That's a good one.
I played with her last summer, and I'm just super excited to see what like being at USC has done, I guess. I haven't seen her in like a year, and so I feel like I'm just super excited to see.
I saw her
She's
at Fall Pairs. She was a monster in a good way. Maya,
Oh,
if you're
she's
listening.
the monster. She's the monster at Cal, and then you add in Gustavo and all those girls. I mean, yeah.
All right, Sydney, here's your chance. How are you going to top Maya Gessner?
Oh, you know what's crazy is I've only been hit in the face once ever, and you know who it was by? Maya Gessner at wave practice. I was pulling and I was like a sophomore in high school and she blasted me in the face and I was like, oh my God. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, oh, I don't even know what just happened. I will literally always remember her from that. Like yeah, whenever I think of her, I always think of that. I don't know. I feel like this is like I'm looking at the list of top 20 or the top people's names, but I feel like Perry Brennan, I'm excited to see where she is and
You
who she's
stole
with.
mine.
Huh?
You stole mine. I was going to try and
Is that
watch
what
out
you're
for
gonna
little
say?
people. Yeah.
Dude, she's so just every time I watch her, I feel like she gets better somehow, and I don't know how, but she gets better because the last time I thought that she was just the best ever. So I'm excited to see who she's with, and I'm excited to see what she's able to do. And I'm curious to see if they'll have her at the ones or the twos or where they'll have her because obviously she's capable of playing any of those spots. But yeah, that's probably who I'm most curious to see.
All right. See, I have this thing like looking out for the little people, all the blockers. They always get all the love. All the people that crush the ball. I'm looking for the little ones who got the slice and dice and are
She
shooting the
does. Oh my
corners. Yeah.
goodness.
So I'm gonna have to change mine there. I'm gonna go with the Mad Dog Maddie White from USC because she played some really good fall ball and it was
Mhm.
like you can tell she's just leveled up in this last year. And she's played with a few different gals, but I mean, you could tell that her game was up and she was a fiery player. So looking for Maddie come this weekend. But that brings us to our final part. What are you guys watching? If you could watch, because I know you guys are playing, because there's some big ones. You can say your tournaments or you can say a particular duel because there are 100 and something duels, I believe, going on this weekend um, within the tournaments. At least, I'm sorry, only like 75. My bad. So, um, what would you be watching tournament wise or duel wise? What matchups are you, the athletes, looking to see the results for? And let's go with you, Kylie.
Um, I wish that I was there, but the white tournament, I feel like it's so obvious. All of the matchups, like, I feel like there's not even one to pick from. Like, they're all kind of great, and I'm just trying to find people's moms to stream to go watch them play.
We know Sydney now. She'll put her phone out there for us.
I got you. Sending you my dad's Facebook link.
All right. So Kylie's going with the entire Outrigger Duke Kahanamoku. So on Queens Beach, we'd rather be there in person, but
I'll be there for you guys in spirit.
appreciate it. All right, Sydney, what are you watching? Except for yours, because Kylie's already named it. So, or is there a
Uh,
particular duel you're looking out for?
I can't say that my tournament, there's a specific duel that I'm curious about. I want to know who's going to win between USC and TCU. I'm so curious. I feel like in the past, it's always been kind of USC and UCLA that are like always super tight, but I feel like this match is just going to be, or this duel is going to be very, very close and, or maybe not. I don't know. So I'm curious to see. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to pick one with a former CVW contributor and a
Mhm.
current one. That's going to be Stanford, Hawaii at the Outrigger Duke Kahanamoku. That's Kelly Bellardi,
Oh,
because I
I
don't,
love
we
Kelly.
spoke to her and
She's
I don't know
awesome.
who she's going to be with, but then of course she could easily end up facing off against you, Sydney.
Please, no, please. No, she's so good. I love Kelly. I played with her 6-man this summer. She's the best.
Such a great group. Well, with that, this is our preseason episode of College Volleyball Weekly Beach Top 20. It's Sydney Miller of Hawaii, Kylie Wickley of Texas. We're hoping to get our third on here. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just in case we have to do something unique for her, but we are definitely looking at meeting weekly until the end of the season. Gulf Shores comes about. So, Sydney, Kylie, appreciate your time tonight. Looking forward to seeing the results this weekend. Thanks for listening to College Volleyball Weekly. Be sure to follow Rob Aspero at the Rob on the Mic on Instagram and at Rob on the Mic on Twitter.